Another round of cuts for the U.S. military is imminent, and those of us here at Hampton Roads may be feeling the impact. President Obama, in a rare move, took to the Pentagon podium and made the announcement.
Now, specifics were not laid out yet, but the president insisted the reductions would not hold the United States back from responding quickly should there be a threat to our national security. 10 on your side's David Culver is in the studio with local reaction to the president's defense plan. Of course, for folks in our area, and probably for the entire military, it means getting in will be more competitive, and the ability to stay in, to re-enlist, may also not be a given.
Right, both possibly challenged here. You know, for many, it was viewed for a good while that being part of the military was not only honorable, but also pretty stable. Today, the same cannot be said. In fact, after a decade of wars, President Obama and top military brass are clearing way for a new path. Still, there are more than numbers to these cuts. There are faces, families. We spoke with two local women, Bobby Taylor and Sarah Cobble, who described how their husbands, Navy men, were told their services no longer needed.
His chief had called him and said, I need you to go down to Oceana and talk to the commanding officer.
My husband said, okay, well, what is it about? And his chief went and tell him.
And he texted me when he got down there and said, yeah, I'm out. September 1st is my last official day.
And he came home and he was almost in tears, because that really hurt him.
A combined almost 30 years of service halted. These two women peer-signed for several deployments and homecomings. Now their husbands, two of just 3,000 sailors, part of a recent round of cuts. Others serving our nation may soon know the feeling.
We can't afford to repeat the mistakes that have been made in the past. After World War II, after Vietnam, when our military was left ill-prepared for the future. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not let that happen again, not on my watch.
Thursday, President Obama, surrounded by top defense officials, talked on how the new armed services will look.
So yes, our military will be leaner, but the world must know the United States is going to maintain our military superiority with armed forces that are agile, flexible, and ready for the full range of contingencies and threats.
It's the leaner part that worries 2nd District Congressman Scott Ridgell.
This downsizing, I don't support it.
Representative Ridgell sits on the House Armed Services Committee. We asked him what can be done to protect military careers right here in Hampton Roads.
One thing we can do, at a minimum, in Congress is to bring attention to a matter, to express our disapproval, representing the will of the people.
For families like the Taylors and Cobbles, the damage is done. They get that cuts need to be made. They wish it was handled differently.
I love my country, but I don't like how they're putting our men down like that after they sacrificed for us.
Why do that to someone who has sacrificed 15 years?
And the families say they did not have a backup plan, so they are in the midst of their own budget cuts at this point. Don and Carrie, of course, the president says that the U.S. will maintain itself as a world superpower. He says the focus now is going to be on China and Iran. Still, though, for a lot of families, the concern is how is it going to affect them in the near future.
Right, and they've made the commitment, at least in their minds, okay, 20 or 30 years to the service. And, for a long time, it was kind of a given if you were fit to re-enlist that you would be able to. And
now not necessarily guaranteed. Right.
Also, big concern for folks who work at the shipyards, the ship construction, ship repair, and then those affiliated agencies and private businesses. So a lot to watch for when the details do eventually come out.
Yeah, good point. The effects are going to go well beyond just the military and those companies that are associated with military needs.
And it's tough, it's tough because there's a desire for transparency from the government in terms of what exactly will be cut, but then in terms of the world stage, everybody is looking at that. So there's a PR challenge, I would say, as we make these cuts and go leaner, but still maintain, the message that we could still come get you.
A big challenge all around, there's no question.
All right.
David Culver, thank you, sir.
Sure.